I think I speak for many artists when I say that when we aspire to become professional artists, we just want to do what we love for work. After all, as the saying goes, if you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. Right? Well, not exactly. The truth is, when realities of the world kick in, food, rent, monthly payments, then working on your passion becomes secondary to pure survival. Financial stress has serious physiological and psychological impacts. Based on real studies, someone preoccupied with money problems has a cognitive function drop similar to 13 IQ points, or a loss of an entire night's sleep. So you can see how being worried about your finances can stress you out. And if you only focused on doing what you liked, you can quickly become oblivious to the realities of the market. Maybe the market doesn't need more spaceship designers. What are the expertise that the industry actually needs? Which niches are growing and which ones are shrinking? What are evergreen niches and what are emerging industries? Now, this requires a broader understanding of market trends that is more than just what you love. I want to illustrate this point with a personal story. Early on in my career, I aspired to become a 3D character artist for films. Those artists sculpting hyper-realistic digital doubles? Yeah, I wanted to do that. Well, a mentor I had at the time told me this: Ian, I know you want to do realistic digital doubles for films. However, please consider that the market opportunity out there for such a role is slim. You will likely have to relocate to another country if you can't find employment here. Of course, when I first heard that, I didn't like it because I had invested so much time into learning anatomy, sculpting, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. And he was right. Life would have likely turned out very differently, and probably not in a better way had I gone down this path. It was from there that I decided to pivot into doing hard surface and settled on the automotive niche, which is somewhat of an evergreen niche, in my opinion. This turned out to be a good choice based on how my career has unfolded thus far. Truthfully, if you can't pay your bills doing this, then you have a hobby, not a career. To make art a profitable endeavor and one that can actually fund the lifestyle you want, there are a few aspects that you need to focus on, primarily sales, marketing, and fulfillment. Now, let's first talk briefly about fulfillment. Fulfillment is doing the actual client work to a satisfactory level. It's what all the art tutorials online teach you how to do: the modeling, UVs, baking, texturing, lighting, etc. Since there is already an overwhelming amount of content online on this topic, it's not the focus of this video. Instead, I want to focus on sales and marketing today. For many of you, you already have the artistic and technical skills required to thrive in a studio or freelance environment. Yet, you can't actually figure out how to get clients to give you money consistently. You might have had someone reach out to you for a project and then nothing for months. This is obviously not a sustainable way to go about it. In between projects, you might be freaking out, not knowing when the next project will come in, and still having bills to pay next month. That's gonna stress you out a lot. Really, it's not your fault. You just haven't been taught and developed the client acquisition skills required to make this work reliably. And without marketing, no one is going to know you exist. And without sales, no one is going to pay you for your services. Not having skills in marketing and sales is just like showing up to the lake with the ability to fish, but not actually having a fishing rod or bait. And all three are needed to make it work. One or two of those missing, and you are severely limiting your true potential. Now, let's talk about marketing first. How can you go about developing marketing skills? Simply put, you can search up artists that you look up to and have been commercially successful. Then, investigate not just their artwork and how it was done, but also how they go about marketing themselves. How often do they post content? What kind of content do they post? How are they branding themselves? I want you to take notes and see how you can apply that into your own branding. Because by studying what the best in this business do, you can unpack and reconstruct what you're doing to become commercially successful yourself. And likely, what you will discover is that there wasn't a single moment in time which caused them to blow up and get popular online. It's years and years of being consistent, putting the effort day after day and over time. And you can probably see the improvements in your work over time as well. Now, that's for marketing. Let's move on to sales. The missing link isn't necessarily about improving your skills or creating more personal projects. Sure, that helps to create exposure, get eyeballs on your work, and also grow your following. Don't get me wrong. There's also the crucial aspect of how many people who can actually offer you work are looking at your portfolio. And how many of those people, art directors, recruiters, etc., have to look at your work for one of them to reach out to you. So imagine you got 1,000 views on a project. Of those 1,000 views, maybe 1% is an art director, recruiter, or producer. Of that 1%, which is 10 people, there may be even one that is even in your specific niche or industry. And how many of those 1 out of 1,000 people will actually send you a message looking to hire you? Maybe 1 in 20. So you can do the math. For one art director, recruiter, or producer to reach out to you, you need, let's say, 20,000 views. 20,000. Now, count the overall number of views that your projects have gotten across all social media platforms. That number of views to inbound messages might be higher or lower depending on the platforms you post on, and may vary based on the industry, but the logic still stands. Now, this graphic here kind of sums up what I'm trying to explain here. So, for example, you get 20,000 views across all your social media platforms, might be on ArtStation, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And only 1% might be decision makers. These are your art directors, producers, recruiters, art leads, etc. And out of those 200 decision makers, there might be only 10% which are in your specific niche. For example, if I'm in the automotive niche, then maybe only 10% of them will be relevant to me. And how many of those 20 people you think will reach out to you? Maybe 1 in 20 looking to hire you. So the idea is massive visibility is required for even one inbound lead, as in someone reaching out to you. And not all inbound leads become paying clients, as you might imagine. There presents a small dilemma. How can you be able to generate so many views when a personal project might take you weeks or even months to produce, and only generate you a few thousand views overall? Not to mention how AI is actively taking away those eyeballs from your profiles because of how fast that content can be produced. You might go the entire year focusing all your spare efforts on personal projects and only have 1 to 2 people reach out to you for work. You might be lucky to get a 3-month contract out of that. That's not going to reliably pay your bills, unfortunately. I'm not saying to stop creating personal projects. Please do. The world needs more unique art and creativity. What I'm saying is this. You need to flip this entire paradigm on its head. Instead of 5 to 10 relevant people seeing your work the entire year, how about 500 to 1,000? Now, how do you go about doing this? By developing a systematic process of reaching out to your intended audience, reaching out to art directors, recruiters, producers that will actually need your talent. In sales, this is known as cold outreach, and there are many different ways of doing so. I've listed some of them out here. You can call them on the phone, you can send them an email, you can write them a message on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. All of these methods work as long as you apply them consistently and over time. Now, if you've only just heard of this idea, you might feel a bit repulsed. You might think, I'm an artist, so people should approach me because I'm good at what I do. I won't do such menial tasks to get work. Then, unfortunately, you can just keep on doing what hasn't been working for years. However, if you're actually serious about wanting to live the life you want through professional art as the vehicle, then you can follow these 3 steps I'm going to outline here. Firstly, you want to determine your target audience. I want you to get into as much detail as possible. Write it down. What these people look like, who they are, some examples, and look for these people online. You can create spreadsheets to record down their contact information, or you can use my leads list template here for free. I'll put the link in the video description below. So go to File and make a copy, and you can use it for your own. Once you have determined your target audience, you have to craft a personalized outreach message to them. Some people just like to start by saying hi, or you can send them a personal compliment. The goal is to get the conversation going. You have to figure out what works for you and your personality, and also what lands well with your target audience. Thirdly, you just have to do outreach consistently, day after day, week after week. I typically recommend people who are looking for work to spend 2 hours a day at least doing this first thing in the morning. You want to tweak your messaging as you do more of it, refine it, make it better, and you want to record down the people when they reply, what kind of message you used, and try to steer the conversation towards a call where you can talk about a potential collaboration. So this graphic sums up what I'm trying to say here. You send 200 outreach messages and maybe 10% gets opened, right? Open rate is probably higher, but let's say 10%. So out of 200 messages, 10% get seen. And out of those 10%, you get 5 responses. And out of those 5 responses, you have one person who's interested in hiring you or looking to talk, right? So 200 messages, you got one lead. Compare it to 20,000 views, which might take 3 or 4 personal projects to get one inbound message. You see how the math lines up in your favor here based on the effort to reward? While direct outreach requires a high volume to work, it's much faster to get a high number of relevant people to look at your work instead of just posting personal work into the void, hoping people reach out to you. Now, just a word of advice when you're going to do this. Is this the hardest thing you're going to do? No. It's actually conceptually very simple to understand, but because you don't have the habit of doing outreach, you might find it mentally difficult to act upon. And I won't blame you. The truth is, the keys to the life you have always wanted is simple, but not easy. The choice is yours if you want to act upon it. I've been using these strategies for the past 5-6 years now, and I've been living the remote lifestyle for that period of time. Having this level of location and time freedom over my career is simply amazing, and I will always be grateful for it. It's also the reason I can keep doing what I do day after day, week after week without burning out. Now, I hope this information has been useful to some of you and will help point you in the right direction. If you like this kind of video about how to find clients, how to land clients, then be sure to like and subscribe so I know that you want to see more.